Now we review Not Friday the 13th, In a Violent Nature. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I have been anticipating this particular film. I've really wanted to watch it. That is In a Violent Nature. And because, I'm kind of a horror movie geek, that's what I'm into. And it is essentially a Friday the 13th clone, which is odd because Friday the 13th in and of itself became a clone of Halloween. Okay, it was even named Friday the 13th because of the rash of films based on holidays. Or, I don't know if Friday the 13th is a holiday, but my brother always celebrated it. Anyway, so what you have in this particular film is, well, before I go any further, let me remind you that for every 1,000 subscribers I get, I do purchase one of these bracelets from 4Ocean. 4Ocean pulls a pound of trash out of the ocean every time I do that. If you'd be so kind as to comment, like, and subscribe, you're doing your part for a better world. Now, In a Violent Nature is the story of Jonny, our killer. It's done primarily from his perspective. And what it is that Jonny was how true it is, we don't know. The story that we're given, which is never 100% confirmed, is that Jonny was the developmentally challenged son of a merchant who sold to a group of loggers. The group of loggers had a gripe against the merchant or the merchant's son, and, adult mentally challenged son, and, lured him up a fire tower and then scared him, making him fall off to his death. Right? This caused the father to become enraged, and a fight broke out, and the father also died. So now you have Jonny's vengeful spirit, and the only thing that can stop Jonny's vengeful spirit is a locket that used to belong to his mother. What happened to his mother, we don't know. She may have died in childbirth. He could have been big dude, could have been a pretty big baby. And, so long as the Jonny and the locket are at the fire tower, Jonny stays at rest. But if you move the locket, which somebody of course does, Jonny comes after people and starts killing them. And, critics are pretty much loving this film. It's only getting a 5.9 on IMDb as of me watching this, which is neither here nor there for a horror film. It gets an 85% of critics enjoyed it on Rotten Tomatoes, with 44% of audiences liking it. So audiences are not enjoying this film. And then Fandango gave it a 74%. And I can tell you that this film is very unique, all right? In that you see things from the killer's perspective, and it has a very minimalistic sound design. In fact, I think that somebody who wrote this film probably played a video game where you play as the killer, and basically the sound effect that is primarily present in the game, or perhaps you could turn off the music in the game, is the footsteps of the killer, because we get a lot of that, and some of the POV, it really feels like this is somebody playing a video game as kind of a Jason Vorhhees character and killing people. Also, the kills are incredibly gory, excessively gory in some cases, and the people in this are ridiculously stupid and oblivious. I mean, it's like he's just standing there in the woods. There isn't even a bush between them, so there's no reason they shouldn't be able to see him, and yet they don't. And there's one scene where he gets into the water. You'd hear the splashing, and you'd look over there, and it's just people see him and they don't just run away. They kind of sit there. In fact, there's even one scene where this guy is trying to get his attention, and he's so close that it's like, what are you doing? What is the point of you getting Jonny's attention in that moment other than for you to just get killed? You could consider this bad writing, or you could consider this an homage to these kind of slasher horror films. And in terms of this being an homage to these kind of slasher horror films, the one thing that this film is absolutely missing is the obligatory boob shot. That's not in this movie. Okay, so there's that. That's a negative. And not I think before the midway point, you're actually given the reveal of what Johnny's face looks like, even though most of the time he's got this antique firefighter hat on, this mask that covers his face. And some people have criticized that because, do we really want to know what's under that mask? Well, I mean, he kind of looks like Jason Voorhees. There have been various shots of Jason's face, and this is really an homage to someone who has seen a lot of the films. There is a point, and I thought this was a great scene, where the killer finds a toy car, and you for a moment see the human that used to live in this body, the child spirit that used to live in this body. You see him playing with this toy car as, he would have in life. And it's something that, it's a callback to previous lines in the film. And it's very much this moment, this humifying moment that it's like, yes, this thing, this monster used to be human. And he used to be a person. And, this person doesn't like it when you rob his grave, which none of us would like that. None of us would like to have that moment where somebody is running around with, your mother's whatever it is. So it's a very humanizing moment. So it's a character with some layers. He's not just a mindless killing machine. He is a character that can be distracted and may even be able to be reasoned with, although people don't try to reason with him. That's one of those things, is just the raw stupidity of these characters. It baffles the mind. It's so bad. And I would actually say that you can tolerate it up to a point until finally someone who should know better, who appears to know better, winds up getting waxed by Johnny. And I don't want to go too far into that, but, it's one of those situations. It's like I've always said with Jason Vorhhees, Jason Voorhees, he's tough, he's hard to kill. Has anybody tried taking a mole axe to him? He really can't come after you after his head has been turned into strawberry jelly, right? I mean, if there's no eyeballs, he can't see you. So he's not as dangerous. Maybe not completely nullified, but definitely not as dangerous. And that's in one of the movies, I think it's Jason Goes to Hell. He gets blown to smithereens. And it's like, okay, yes, well, he's in pieces. He's not very dangerous. That's Jason Voorhees. Then he turns into a slug for some reason. But that's a different movie. But this movie is set in the 80s, so that film does not exist in this film's timeline. But, if you know how to deal with this thing, it's like, well, we're gonna chain him up and put him back. It's like, no. Okay, you've got him down. This is when you go get the axe and start lopping off body parts, because he can't hurt you if he's in pieces. This is common sense. Doesn't happen in this movie. And it's at that point where this character that's dealt with this before gets waxed that the killing becomes gratuitous. It's like, yeah, okay, he's obviously doing that just for the sake of doing it, as opposed to, he's got some kind of like real reason. It's like, yeah, okay, the kills are excessive, but it's like, okay, that person's not 100% dead. He's just super killing them. And that's ridiculous and over the top, but it made some sense. In this one, it's like, okay, how did he know to do that? And then how would he know how this machine works over here? It doesn't make sense. So I could see why audiences are really savaging this film. And I mean, I looked at a review aggregate right before coming on here. It's mostly getting the 1 star, or I think a 0.2 from Google. It's really, people are hating on this film, and for good reason, because at a certain point, the characters just get to be so stupid that it's like, I can't continue enjoying the film, because there's not even the most plausible or the most implausible level of denial I can apply to this to explain why these things are this stupid. And, that's neither here nor there. On the one hand, as a piece of art, okay, bold choices are made, and this film is unique. So, if you are a fan of the genre, you definitely need to see this film. If you are the kind of person who went out and bought the box set of Friday the 13th after you had already purchased several Friday the 13th DVDs, you got to see this film. It's a must-watch film for you because it is within the genre and it is a truly unique piece of cinema. So it is definitely going to get a cult following. It's going to be very interesting. However, if you're not into slasher films, this is at the bottom of your watch list because where it is a unique piece of art and it is definitely worth seeing just for the knowing of what it is, it's pretty bad. I mean, I'm honestly thinking that these choices were made as an homage to this form of cinema. This is very much an art film with a unique perspective on the character and strong choices. And, when a film is a true work of art, it's something we should see. Certain films like Beneath the Skin, you should probably see that just because it's such a unique work of art. And this film, the lack of music, the multiple scenes, strong scenes from the killer's perspective, all point to this being a true cult classic that will go down in cinema history as being unique and interesting. However, I have to admit that if these choices are not deliberately designed to be an homage to the genre, they really do detract from your enjoyment of the film. So yeah, this is one of those films where you should probably wait till your friend pulls out a copy, watch this during the October season, and enjoy it at that point. Preferably, at least by the midway point, having drunken 5 or 6 beers. If you're just watching it because you're a horror hound, you want to be sober because those kills are gruesome. But that's just my opinion. I'd love to hear yours. Down in the comments below. I'm Richard. Greetings, humanity. Once again, Fred the Facehugger here, reminding you to comment, like, and subscribe. And of course you should do that because, if you look, I am wearing 2 bracelets. These bracelets are from 4Ocean, a company that pulls a pound of trash out of the ocean every time somebody buys something from them. Well, the owner of this channel has pledged to buy 1 bracelet for every 1,000 subscribers. And it's a very, very dirty ocean that you dirtied. So you should help him out and comment, like, and subscribe, therefore having him more subscribers so that he can buy more bracelets and clean that ocean. Or, I could fulfill my life cycle and hug your face. Don't you want a hug? Come over here. I want to give you a hug. I want to give you a hug right now. Yes, come over here, polluting human. Let me give you a hug.